Yeah, this is, I'm going to read you the opening prologue. And this is the way I picture Maddie reading. This is how I picture Maddie, even though it's a male voice. And it goes like this. Today I'm thankful for two things. My dad is coming home from Iraq for good. And my three best friends agreed with me to write this book. Not a bad 17th birthday, huh? Okay, here's the deal. 3 months ago, I was kind of depressed. My counselor and I were talking about college, and I was really worried. And she said not to worry. And I wanted to say to her, so what if I have good grades? So do a bazillion other juniors in high school. And besides, even if I take the SAT test, I'm going to bomb the math part. And even if I don't bomb the math part, I've got 2 younger brothers, and I'm never going to be able to afford college. And my mom works in a preschool, and my dad is dodging bullets in Iraq. And besides all of that, I have absolutely no idea what to do with my life. And she said, don't worry. My father would say, buck up, Maddie. That's the kind of thing my dad would say to me. And my mother would just say, don't worry, dear. We'll do whatever it takes to get you to college. And so I do what every Navy brat does. I do what I'm told. I handle the situation. And it means I go to school and I deal with the drama and I try to make some new friends. I try to hold on to some old friends. And maybe, just maybe, I'll finally meet a boy who's genuine and actually listens. That's why I like Nikki. Anyway. I remember that last night, back in August, when I was having that night before school fear, that, you know, what will I wear fear, that will I measure up to the girls with their perfect hair, perfect teeth, perfect tan fear. And I'm walking around the house, and my mom is wondering why I'm being so moody. And she says to me, you're being ridiculous, Maddie. Ridiculous. Well, that's how I felt, because sometimes high school is ridiculous. Like, for instance, my dad. I remember the night that my mom told me for sure that he was coming home from Iraq, that he was retiring from the Navy. He'd been there for 9 months. 9 months. That's like practically my entire sophomore year. Yeah, I would watch the video clips he sent us, and I would read the letters as many times as my mom did. And it just made it worse. And I can't explain why it did, so I won't. But every Friday night, we would watch the news, and they would show this week's dead in Iraq and Afghanistan. And my mom thinks that I don't know that she goes into the bathroom and cries. And me, I just look at the TV and I look at the faces of all the men who look just like my dad. And I cry. Does anyone know what it's like to have your hero fighting in a war that he's not even sure he believes in? Ridiculous, I know. But before he was deployed, that night before he was shipped out, he turned to me and he said, Maddie, I do what I'm told. I serve my country. I serve my president. Dang it, I hate when I start to cry. I always think that I'm going to fry the frickin' keys on the computer. Okay. So anyway. I was sitting there night before school started, and it was a miserable hot summer night, you know. Yeah, and I was sitting there with my bowl of cookie dough ice cream, and I was watching one of those old movies that they show all the time, you know, to inspire the kids and to inspire the teachers to go to school. And that's when this story takes a really crazy turn. The movie was called To Sir with Love. And there was this young black teacher. He was struggling with these students in London, you know. And these kids, I mean, they were a disaster. They were poor, and they were rude, and they were mean. And they were mean to their teachers, and they were mean to everybody except the black guy, this one guy. And slowly, he changed them, these kids, from losers and loners to people who cared about themselves and each other. And slowly, they started to appreciate him for what he had done for them. And I said to myself, I want mine to serve with love. Okay, I admit it. He looked a little bit like Barack Obama. I know I'm a hopeless romantic. So, I'm bawling at the end of this movie, okay? And I've got the ice cream and it's all melted, and the tissues are all balled up, and there's a big smile on my face as this girl is singing about this teacher and how she wanted to thank him for all that he had done for her, and how he had changed her life. And I was just wishing my school had this to serve with love. And so, I texted Mickey, and I said to him, Mickey, this was right after the first day of class of Mr. B's class. And I said, Mickey, we got to meet the Metaphor Cafe. It's this little beat-up little cafe in the old part of town. It's been there forever. Mickey's not my boyfriend or anything, okay? Well, they could be. I don't know. It's just all caught up in drama. It's never simple in high school, trust me. So anyway, we contact our friends, Pari and Rhiannon, and they all agree to meet at the Metaphor Cafe. Now, we said to our parents that we were a study group, but we really were going there to share the mochas and the lattes and just talk. And that was August 24th. And now, it's Thanksgiving. And we decided then that we would write this story, and that I was elected to write the prologue. But we began to wonder, could we really capture what Mr. B's class was really like? Could we capture the experience? Because like, his class isn't a class, it's this experience where you're like on a raft on a river. I mean, we are just floating along in the Mississippi with Huckleberry Finn. We're listening to Bruce Springsteen saying, deep down in the big muddy. We're drifting from love to war to racism. And the current always seems to lead us back to this corner table at the Metaphor Cafe. Oh, one last thing I need to tell you. When I was wondering if we could really capture this story, this experience, and what Mr. B introduced to us, I wondered if I could capture me and Mickey and Maddie and Rhea. Could we capture our hopes and our dreams and our fears? Could we communicate them? It just seemed so impossible. And just as I was starting to have some really serious doubts, it happened! I was in the car, driving to the grocery store for my mom. She had some oldies station on, and I heard it. It was the song from the movie, To Serve With Love, except it was sung by the Glee cast. I added that. And I just sat there in the grocery store just listening to it, and I got goosebumps. And I knew right then, we had to write this. Yes, I know, it won't be easy, but we'll try. And we started out writing this for Mr. B and Miss Anderson, but we all know the truth. The truth is that we were writing this for ourselves, because that's what writers do. That's what Mr. B taught us. And he did this all in just 3 months. He is our To Serve With Love.